Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, back with another Sister Wives Season 2 review. I was looking back at some of my old stuff and it was not nearly as detailed as what I give you all now with these rewatches. And I'm sitting here realizing why. Because when I watch this too much, when I really marinate on what is being said, it creates an anger within me that I cannot describe. Because I sat there and watched as this man, as this father, as this person who supposedly loves his kids, this man that spent his life trying to protect them, trying to create a safe environment for them, sat on national television and undid all of what he claims that he has been trying to do. He sat there and called his son Garrison stupid and narcissistic on national TV. Projection much? Because why did you say those things about him? All because he called you out on some of your crap? He's despicable and he's gross. And at this point, I am sick of him. Next. Watching your kids, in my opinion, does not equate to babysitting. They are your flipping kids, you pile of caca. They're kids. I thought watching my kid was a part of me being a parent. Maybe I got it wrong, because who says I'm babysitting my kids? I might say, or might have said in the past, y'all, I can't go out with you guys tonight. I am going to be watching my son. I don't say I'm going to be babysitting my son. Next, Robin. Robin is a dirty, grimy, family-stealing bird that seems to think that Christine is being selfish because for once she's choosing her own happiness over other people's happiness, or should I say over the bird's. The bird rather her stay in a loveless marriage with a man that disrespects her at every turn. She rather her stay as a wife in a family where the husband and the newest members don't seem to appreciate her, but they still, for whatever reason, want her there. Next, here's a crazy idea. Did Cody ever think that maybe one of the reasons why Hunter is being brought up in the situation why he's having certain conversations with his siblings may have to do with something other than Cody? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but does Hunter not have a master's degree in nursing? I would think that he would be able, at the time, maybe he didn't have the master's degree, but he was going to school. I would think that he would be able to give some form of guidance or a little bit more knowledge about certain things to his siblings. And I also would think that he would just be talking to his siblings because they're close. Did it ever occur to the bald eagle that his kids don't just get on the phone to talk about him? If you can't tell by now, this episode pissed me off. So go ahead and do me a favor and hit the like button as we begin and I try to remain calm. So we begin the episode with with Janelle saying that Garrison got the vid because he works outside of the house, which then turned into the rest of the people who lived in her home getting it as well. At this point, she's happy that Cody wasn't over there, because if it was, it probably would have been transmitted throughout the family. More like it probably would have been given to the Feather Crew. Bald Eagle says that they were successful with keeping it from spreading to the other houses, so now he just has to figure out what's next. He lets us know that the talk with Christine about her wanting to leave was a week ago. So we get a flashback of it. He says he's still shocked and he's still angry and he's not in a good place. He's been thinking about everything, all the things that he's done wrong, the blame, his refusal to want to take accountability, his struggle to take her seriously. Despite all that she said, he's wondering if it's real and if she's going to change her mind. I'm listening to him say all these things and I'm realizing that he's still trying to explain away his behavior. Meanwhile, Christine is approaching this thing like, look, nothing has changed. He hasn't come over here any more than he was before or any less than he was before. The bird then comes on because she knows everything and she has to co-sign what her bald eagle says and how he behaves. And she has to try to make us believe what is being said, like we don't know that these two people conspire with each other all the time. She says something that makes no sense because at this point, they're still in the middle of the pandemic. And she's sitting here telling us that the bald eagle is very busy and that he doesn't stay in one place. How is that possible? Because it's the pandemic. So he shouldn't be busy because he's supposed to be staying in one place. After all, that's why he's so mad at the boys and keeps talking about them socializing and all those other things. This should be the most calmest period in his life. Robin says, in Vegas, everyone was still complaining about time. Different people think that, Cody is not being fair with his time. And he really actually is. They're just not tracking it because they're struggling. It's easy to think of lack when you're struggling. Those people knew exactly what they were talking about. Robin can't speak on the situation because unlike the others, she's getting his time. She has from day one. Janelle says he uses his car as an office, but he doesn't normally come to my house until after 6 p.m. Normally, he's at Robin's house helping with the little kids, confirming what Christine said about him not spending full days there. So the bird then tells us that she has a lot going on during the day. And because she has so much going on during the day, that's why she needs a nanny. Because it's just not fair to ask him to help when he has so many kids and such a big family. What in the world do you mean? Because you don't ask him for help, but he still does everything to stop what he's doing and help. After all, he's been coming there prior to the pandemic every morning to help you with your kids. Robin needs a nanny to help while the bald eagle works. Why? What the heck are her kids doing? Are they tyrants? Are they pulling down things? Are they destructive? Because at this point, her kids are not toddlers. And on top of that, you have 3 elder kids that can help you from time to time. So I don't understand why she needs help. You have 2 little ones. In my opinion, Solomon is capable of doing certain things without the bird's assistance. What help does he need from her? What help do they need from her? Cody says that Christine telling him that the kids don't want to be around him bothers him. That, he's been at home all year. Wait, I don't think I said that right. I don't think I wrote that right. I think Cody was saying that Christine said that he doesn't want to be around the kids, but I'm not sure. Y'all correct me down below. Either way, something about them being around each other. He's been around Robin's, but he's been at home all year. He hasn't been doing business things. He hasn't traveled. He hasn't seen friends, but Christine has. Christine tells us he's not as engaged with the kids at my house. He comes and he doesn't really get involved with us where he does with others. He did come kayaking with us the one time, but he was babysitting Robin's kids. She should have said he was watching Robin's kids. He says it's not normal for him to babysit kids. As he says this, I wonder when he actually spent time with his kids, because it seems like his interactions that we witnessed were more so for cameras, number one, and number two, happened only because of the show. Because before, Janelle recently told us about how he used to take the kids on trips with him, probably because they were selling the billboards for him, because he's not a worker. So I don't get how he's created special moments with them when he doesn't even feel like he should watch them. He says that's not his job. He's been working all his life. So the idea of hiking or kayaking isn't something that he would normally do. It's easier to pay somebody $20 an hour than for him to lose $200 an hour not even working. Who is Cody feeling? Who is he fooling? He expects us to believe that he's making $200 an hour working when he can't even finish improvements on his house, when he can't even fix basic things like railings and stuff outside to fix his patio area and things of that nature. You want us to believe that you make $200 an hour? Come on now. This isn't, a new complaint that Cody favors me. They kind of make assumptions about how he is at my home. I'm not getting some type of preferential treatment, even though that's what they think. Plural marriage is hard for me too. Which, please, we know that the bird and her kids get special treatment because we've seen it. Cody feels like now that Janelle and the kids have had the virus, that he should be able to go there without getting it for like 90 days. He reminds us how one person's actions could affect the rest of the family. Cue Christine, who says, yes, his actions are in fact hurting the whole family. It's true. I laughed so hard at that point because Christina's like, yeah, one person's actions, a lot of the times the actions are yours. Bird says the bald eagle is there by default. It's at her house by default because of what the others are doing. He's stressed and he's angry and he's not fun to be around, and she's never seen him like this. So she's getting a little sample of what some of the other wives have gotten for 10 plus years, and she can't handle it. Interesting. What did she think that they had to deal with? I miss my husband because he's not himself. And anytime I try to talk to him, I get anger, I get anger thrown at me. And I have to say, hey, whoa. I'm not, I'm not who you're mad at, In other words, it's okay for him to be mad at other people, but not her. Interesting. She says no one is willing to talk to her, so she feels so helpless. Oh, well, it's about time you feel helpless. It's been 4 weeks since Christine told Cody that she does not want to be married to him anymore. He is over there to have a talk with her because she's the passage and the doorway to get to his children. Only one child at that point really requires Christine to be involved, and that's Truly. The others are old enough to have independent relationships with him. So I don't understand why he keeps all of a sudden trying to talk about the children. He claims that he's supposed to fight for this. He's wondering if they're making a mistake, if he's making a mistake in letting Christine go. He wonders if this will damage their children. He said he had a breaking point and thought that they would be able to get counseling, but Christine had a breaking point and her answer was to leave. Christine's breaking point was years ago. Years ago. Before they even left Vegas. And she tried counseling, but it's clear that the bald eagle uses counseling not to get help, but to find other ways to manipulate others. Because that's what he does. Christine says, look, we had the conversation about there being no intimacy in our marriage months ago. If he was really interested in therapy, he would have said something at this point. She has felt relief in leaving him to the point where she tells him she wishes that she would have never even came to Flagstaff, that she should have left him back in Vegas. She should have. He seems shocked by this. He says the threat of leaving has always been out there. The 3 of his wives have threatened to do it all the time. Christine said, I thought that I was supposed to try to stick this out. I thought that this was what I was supposed to go through, but plural marriage is tough. Janelle said that Christine and Cody have struggled for a long time, and it's been inevitable that they were going to separate. Mary says, if both parties aren't willing to do it, then there's not much you can do to fix the situation. Mary's willing to do it. He isn't. I wish she would have taken her own advice. Robin says, plural marriage is hard. That's why you can't get lazy in it. It's insulting. She wasn't being lazy. You have to choose it every day. You have to want everyone in the family to be happy as much as you want yourself to be happy. It's the only way to do it successfully, in her opinion. Robin is a walking, breathing contradiction. And I don't get why she feels like she has so much information on this when she shouldn't even have been asked a question by production about it. He apologizes to her for being so angry, and she's grateful that he's being real rather than just being angry. But it didn't last long, because in the confessional, he kept talking about it and saying that he feels like this is a major injustice that's been done to him, and it galls him. Meanwhile, she's talking about this is the sweetest that he's been to her in years. Goes to show you how crappy he treated her. She says, me leaving is what's best. He didn't think her not being happy would make her want to leave. Christine says she can do this by herself. She realized it when she was by herself with Isabel for her surgery. It helped her to see that. Cody says, the past couple of weeks when I've come over, Truly's been really happy to see me. He's saying that because he's trying to guilt Christine. And Christine's like, yeah, because she doesn't know any different. She doesn't even realize you haven't been sleeping here. She says Truly has friends that parents are going through divorce or have went through divorce, and she heard all the bad. So Truly doesn't she's against divorce. She doesn't like the idea of it, but she's not going to tell her yet until they have to. She's like, I'm tired at this point of waiting for him to be a husband and a hands-on dad. He can't let this go, to the point where he says the anger is curling his toes. For 30 years, he has made a safe and functional environment for the wives and the children. So he doesn't know what it looks like when Christine shatters this reality for him and moves on. This is why he's so mean to her, because he continues to blame her for this, even though it's him. He says he doesn't want to be friends with Christine. He has wives that have ex-husbands, and he knows what they say about their exes. And he doesn't want Christine to go around the country saying he's a bad person. So don't be a bad person. If you're being good to her, kids especially, then she'll say it. She wants to move 8 hours away to the Salt Lake area. He thinks it's unrealistic, and he is disgusted by her trying to take Truly. Because men, as he says, don't win in the divorce world. If Cody was really trying to be involved in Truly's life, the moment that Christine said that she wanted a divorce, what Cody should have done was he should have tried to fix the situation if he wanted to truly be involved in Truly's life, no pun intended, by going and taking care of her birth certificate, getting his name put on it, and then going to the courts to ask for 50-50 custody. At least you would have been able to stall Christine's moving a little bit, but it varies per state. The point is, he should have tried to do something to try, but he did not. Christine's like, I just want to take her to a place where she will be surrounded by love from someone other than me. She doesn't understand at this point what Gwen and Isabel have seen for years, that he prefers someone else and to be around someone else. He says, I've always loved you, but I have not been in love. And Christine says, for a long time. I don't think he was going to say for a long time. I think he was going to say, I have not been in love with you, period. She's being all nice, telling him that he was her first love and, that you're always going to be a part of my heart. And she's smiling. She says, I want to let the other wives know. I want them to see that, I talked to you about it and that, we're good. She says she knows that some people are going to be angry. Some relationships will be fine. Some won't. Some are going to be the same way they were. She says Janelle knows most about her struggle with Cody, but no one knows she's leaving. No one but the bird, because the bird knows. Cody doesn't want to be seen as weak, so he doesn't want to talk about it with the wives. He wants her to admit that she's leaving because of choices and behaviors she's had, not because of what he's done. But that's not the true reason. He can never admit his faults. She wants him to be there because she wants them to see they talked about it. She says at this point, she will no longer be a sister wife to them. This is what she tells us. But maybe they can be friends. They agree to talk about it with them. And he tells us that he's still in a state of denial. He leaves. That's it. Isabel. So Christine says Isabel has decided to go to college with Maddie. She needs to get away from her because of everything that's gone on. She thinks that it will be healthy for her, especially with the heaviness that's been surrounded. She wants to make sure that all her kids are straight. Gwyneth wants to stay there. Truly's going to come with her. And Isabel will be with Maddie, so she'll still have family, and they're going to make sure she's okay. So they're calling Maddie on video call to make sure that they're still on for Isabel coming to live with them, meaning they've had this discussion already at other points. Maddie is excited, and she immediately celebrates when Isabel says that she got into Pitts and that she'll be living with them. She said, I'm excited. Caleb is too. He was talking about it. And I was like, wait, we got to still see if she's going to come. I don't know if she's going to come. We then hear from Christine that when Maddie and Caleb got to Vegas and they were living there, that Caleb and Isabel got really close and that she really looks up to Caleb and the man that he is to her sister, as well as the dad that he is, because she probably saw something different in Caleb. She tells us that Maddie was one of the first people that she spoke to when she decided to leave Cody, because she wanted to make sure that she was still a part of Maddie and her kids' life. She wanted to make sure that she was grandma. And Maddie was like, yes, of course you'll be grandma. Understand that I think that Maddie and Janelle are the ones that spilt the beans to Cody about what Christine was saying. Now, I don't think they intentionally did it to cause a rift, but I think Cody asked certain questions and Maddie, being Maddie, answered them. And Janelle, because that was her best friend, just divulged things to her husband. We hear about the different things that happen when wives separate from their husbands, how some remain friends, how some don't, etc., etc. We hear again then from Cody about the protocols that the family has taken. And he's so upset right now because he just got off the phone with Garrison. He said, I asked Garrison to move out of the house 6 months ago. Janelle says him and Cody bump heads a lot. So we find out between the both of them that Garrison went and bought a trailer, that he parked the trailer beside Janelle's rental house, and he's going to fix it up and live in it while he continues to save for his house, and he's going to move into it in a couple of months. The money that he spent on that trailer could have been put in his home, but as usual, to shut his father up and to try to appease him, he bought this trailer when that money could have went to the down payment on his house. He says, Cody does, that the trailer has too much work on it to be done. So Garrison goes, and you know what he does? He gets the virus and he gives it to Janelle and all the kids. All of her kids. Not my kids, but Janelle's kids. He gives it to his girlfriend, and he gives it to Gabe, and Gabe gives it to his girlfriend. He's a grown-ass man that can move out. He said, I lost my poop because Garrison called me a hypocrite. He says he called me a hypocrite when he can go out and get his own place. You know, I've tried to talk to Gabe and Garrison and Janelle. I've tried to interact and communicate with them and say, hey, please will you figure this out with your dad, Cody? And I've been shut down. Because it's none of your business. You wait until all these months to try to say that? Not in the very beginning when you heard him talking crap about his kids? You want to wait till now when the damage is done? He is sitting there saying some of the family think that the virus is fake. And that's never been his stance. Janelle's like, me and my kids don't think that it is. Christine says it too. She says, some of my kids, like Garrison, even have the vaccination because of the military and because of their job. So they obviously have to think that this is real. Bald Eagle says, Garen calls me up with his narcissistic attitude and goes, this is your fault and I'm never going to be around you again. Christine says, look, the kids are frustrated because of the way Janelle's been treated for years. Janelle doesn't see a problem with it, but her kids do. So then, because he's mad, Cody says he calls Janelle and tells her to kick Garrison out. And you wonder why he was struggling. And I'm not blaming him. I said this before. I am not blaming the Bald Eagle for what happened to Garrison. I know it was an array of things. We will never fully understand what leads someone to do that to themselves. However, things like this don't help. And I'm going to leave that there. She tells him, I'm not kicking him out. She then tells us, I'm like, dude, you're not even on the lease. I'm on the lease. I'm not kicking out my kid. Janelle's like, look, this is about more than just these rules. That her kids feel like for a long time, even in Vegas, majority of his focus and time has been spent at the Bird's house. She says she may not see it that way. She always thought her and Cody have a good relationship. And what she has is adequate. Adequate. I don't think using words like adequate is a good way to describe a healthy marriage. That doesn't sound healthy to me. We then get the Bird. I know there's a lot of accusations from the boys. About me and him and their faults. I just don't have that kind of power over Cody. And if I did, I certainly wouldn't have, chosen what we would have chose through COVID. I would have made us sit down and made us find a compromise about how to handle COVID together as a family. That's what I would have done if I had the power that they think I have. She's going to keep throwing that man under the bus because she had power. She did. She's sitting here trying to rewrite history and he's going to let her do it because he lets her get away with stuff all the time. Cody then tells us that there's a club with the older kids, that it's a clique. And if you don't agree or do what they want to do, then you're out. He says the older kids are gossiping with each other to the point where it's them against, the others. We hear from Janelle about it being, Robin's family and Mary against the other people, that there's a clear line that's being drawn. The Bird says her kids aren't a part of ganging up. The other kids weren't ganging up either, but the Bird loves to use buzzwords that then cause her husband to act like an a-hole. Mary's like, let's be clear. Leon isn't a part of that either. Is it because at that point Leon isn't talking to a whole bunch of other people? Christine says, at this point, with everything going on, how he looks and how he's acting, I just feel bad for him. We then cut to the discussion with Isabel and Christine. They're there to talk with Cody, or Cody's there to come over there. She lets him know that she got into college in North Carolina. He doesn't immediately congratulate her, you guys. Instead, the first thing that he decides to talk about is the expense. If he really was a part of her life, then he would have already known all of this. Did they not fill out a FAFSA together? Is he not included on that either, since he's not on Isabel's birth certificate either? He didn't know she applied for multiple colleges in North Carolina. Despite what he thinks, this is obviously something that she decided a while ago. It didn't just come out of nowhere. They've obviously already had previous discussions because Maddie and Caleb were already made aware of this. He told us that he thought that, you know, she would stay in Flagstaff, and he thinks that she's running away from their situation. So Christine's like, you know, we got to drive across the country. If you want to drive across with us, you're more than welcome to. If you want to fly there to help her move in, you can do that too. We'll just adjust. He says, that's going to be hard with all of the COVID restrictions, but I guess the gas stations will be open. He's already making excuses, and he's not going to say yes or no until he goes to talk to his bird. They talk about it for a little bit. He hugs her, tells her he's excited, but he also tells her, don't worry about me. She's not worried about you. You're hugging your child. She's had enough of you and her mom. Leave her alone. Allow her to make this about herself. Christine's like, I'm excited for Isabel to be around a happily married couple. Maddie and Caleb are great. She says she talked to Gwendolyn, and she told Gwendolyn things are bad between Dad and I, and I'm leaving here and I'm moving. And are you going to be okay? And Gwen's like, yeah, Mom, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to get my own place. I just want you to be happy. The kids want a better relationship, Christine says, with their father. But at this point, it's his responsibility, not hers. I agree. He says he feels broken. Isabella's leaving. It's a heartbreak that, you know, whatever has happened with he and Christine has left her and him to have this crap relationship where he is just trying to reach her. It has nothing to do with what happened between him and Christine, and everything to do with him not going to her surgery. He feels like they're trying to make him the villain because of the pandemic and his protocols. And he only had those protocols because he wanted to protect his children. That's his story, and he's sticking to it. That's all I have for this one. Y'all tell me what you thought. When I say that listening to him talk about his kids the way that he did, hearing him make excuses as to why he's in the place that he is with a lot of them, hearing him act like the reason why Christine and him aren't getting along is because of the stuff that she did, hearing him act like the reason why Isabella's leaving is because of the pandemic when that had nothing to do with it, just shows how disconnected he is. But tell me how you feel down below. Thank you guys in advance for liking the video. It helps the channel. The last time I checked, we are officially at 1,700 subscribers. Woo, woo! My goal is 2,000, and I plan on getting there sooner than later. Until next time.